Okay, we're going to do activity 19. Okay, so previous video was the overview. So now I'm going to look at part 1, and I must do the Debtors Journal, Debtors Allowances Journal, and Cash Receipts Journal. So in this video I'm just going to focus on the Debtors Journal, and then we'll do the other parts in the other videos. Okay, so just remember, profit margin 33 1/3. So that's the percentages: cost price 100, profit 33 1/3, selling price 133 1/3. Okay, so if I look at the specific transactions, okay, you will see I've already put next to each transaction DJ, DAJ, etc. And for this specific one, we're going to do this video. We're going to do the Debtors Journal. Okay, so I see DJ there. The reason I put DJ there was because it's credit sales to Diana Dippenard, 10/2/56. The last invoice in February, remember we're in March now, was 891. So this invoice that we use for this transaction will be 892. Okay, so it's credit sales 10/2/56. That's a selling price. So therefore we put in the Debtors Journal 892, day 2. Debtors Diana Dippenard, she's debtor number 2, and there's a 10/2/56. Now how do I work out all of these? If I've got the selling price of 10/2/56 and I put it over 1, remember that's the selling price value. That's what I have. Okay, so I must put the have percentage then at the bottom. Okay, so the have percentage is therefore what I have is the selling price of 10/2/56, so that's 133 1/3. Okay, so I put the 133 1/3 below, and what I want to calculate is the cost price, so I put the 100 at the top. Remember, the cost price, what I want is the cost price, so that's what I want, and that's the cost price percentage that I put at the top there, and that's 100, and then I get this value of 7692. Another way to look at it, the selling price is always bigger, cost price always smaller. So if we start with a bigger number, we must put the smaller number at the top and the bigger number at the bottom if we multiply by a fraction to get a smaller number. If I've got the cost price, let's say I've got the 7692 and I wanted to work out the selling price, I must flip it around because I want a bigger number, so the bigger number must be at the top. The 133 1/3 must be at the top, and then the 100 must be at the bottom to get from the cost price to the selling price. Okay, so that was the first one. So I'm not going to go in detail in every one of them, but that was the first transaction that took place on the second. So I again see DJ also on the second, but Zanelli Malloy bought goods on account 8950, but she got a 10% discount. Remember that the selling price is still 8950, but she paid a bit less. She paid 90% of that value. So there we'll see Zanelli Malloy 893, the invoice. She's debtor number 3. Okay, and that is the 8,950 minus the 10% give you the 8055. Now, how do I get this cost of sales amount? I can't use the 8055 because that's already 10% down. I must use the 8950 times, remember this is the bigger amount, I want to get a smaller amount, so I must put the smaller amount, so I must multiply by 100 over 133 1/3, and then I'll get the 6713. Okay, so that was the second. I see the DJ again on the 10th. Zanelli Malloy bought goods on account for 7,480. So that's the selling price. So again, 894 is the invoice number. The next one in line, date 10, Zanelli Malloy. Again, she's dated number 3, 7,480. Now, what must I multiply with? Times 100 over 133 and a third, or 133 and a third over 100. Remember, I've got the bigger number, I've got a big amount, I want a smaller number. So I can't multiply by 133 and a third over 100, because then I'll get a bigger number at cost of sales, and that can't be, because your cost price is always smaller than your selling price. Well, that's what it's supposed to be. Okay, so you take 7,480, multiply by 100 over 133 and a third, and then we get the 5610. Okay, next transaction on the 14th, where it's DJ again. Invoice issued to Diana Dipper now for credit sales. Okay, so we're selling to her on credit. The cost price of the goods sold to her was $690. Okay, again, the $690 is the cost price. I put it on the cost of sales. And now I want to get to the $920. So I must multiply by a bigger number at the top to get to the $920. So 133 multiply by 690, multiply by 133 and a third over 100 to give me the $920. Then I also want the 29th, where 29th, that's again DJ. Gary Goosen bought goods with a cost price of $2,980 on credit. With a cost, so the cost price was $2,980. Right, so there's Gary Goosen, 896, 29th. Okay, 2,980 on the credit side, so it's not very clear. 2,980 on the credit side on the cost of sales. Multiply by 133 and a third over 100 to give me 3,973. Now I just add the totals of sales to get to 3684. Add the totals of cost of sales to get me 23,685. So that was a Debtors Journal of Activity 19.